All right, today we're going to look at organizational charts. And it is my opinion that we are familiar with the term organizational chart, right? So everyone should be familiar with the term. An organizational chart basically means a depiction or a pictorial diagram that represents the structure of an organization. Right, so pictorial representation of the organizational structure, right, which basically shows you positions within an organization in the form of the hierarchy flow or chain of command. So you're going to see all persons or all positions that are holding the highest authority, and as it flows down to those positions that has lesser authority than those at the top, right? So our job is to understand how to draw this organizational chart using a feature in Microsoft Word called Smart Art. And it is very simple in the sense that it provides you with a template that allows you to format and edit to suit the chart that is given to you to complete. So I'm going to demonstrate how this will be done, and then you will follow suit by completing your portfolio piece on organizational chart for submission and marking. All right, so at the beginning of the question, you usually will be given some instructions as to the setup of your page, margins, page size, and orientation. All right, so if the exam question specifies, for instance, that you should use A4, you choose A4. If you use letter, you choose letter. If it signifies that you should use portrait or landscape, you also do likewise. Now, if they do not ask for a particular orientation based on the size of your chart, sometimes the chart takes a little more space in terms of the width. So I will always advise that you turn the page landscape so you can accommodate more of the chart if that is so. Right, your margins may be set at the default 1 inch all around normal setting. At times they may give you different, but most of the time it's equal for all areas. All right. So those are some of the guidelines. They may also give you particular font size to utilize for the chart. You may be given additional notes such as footnote, footer, right? So these are things to pay attention to. So my job is to only specify the steps involved in creating your chart, and then you will follow suit to create that piece for me. All right, so our first job is to go to the menu where you'll find Smart Art, and that is Insert. Then you click on Smart Art. This dialog box will come up, allowing you to choose the options that you need. So we're going to go to Hierarchy. Right? Hierarchy looks at the flow of commands within an organization in that order from highest authority to lowest authority. So this is the appropriate option for charts. We're going to look at the first option or the second option here. So usually these two are appropriate. I'm going to start with maybe the second one, which looks like this, or you can also use this version here. All right, so let's use the first. Once you click on that option, it gives you a template, and you're then allowed to upgrade the template to suit the diagram that is given in the exam question. Right, so there are areas here that you may not need. So you see the boxes here. These boxes are to put the positions. So for instance, you may have general manager here, right? And you notice the font size can be a little bigger at the beginning. So what you can do, you can select all of the boxes, click on one and click Control A, and then you can go to home and you can reduce the size to about 16. Unless they give you a size, this can be an appropriate size. Right? Usually the chart given to you is not a very big chart, meaning not many positions. So this is an appropriate font size. Check your spelling, make sure everything is correct. Right? So this can be a simple chart given. So if this template is what is given to you, or it looks very similar, some of these may be kept, whereas some may be deleted. So if, for instance, the second box here is not needed, which is kind of a staff position where the person assists the general manager but is not directly in the flow of authority, right? So you can remove that. Now be careful and check your question first before you remove chat boxes, right? Which may cause you to spend too much time having to replace them. All right, so if it's not needed, you simply click on it, press delete, and the chart will update itself. Right, if it is that you need it, you can leave it there. And let's say we have here administrative assistant. Right, and the cool thing about this feature is that it accommodates the text in the box, so you really don't have to do much in terms of editing. It fits it right in, right? But if you have to, you can click on the edges, the points of that box, and drag in or drag out, just like how you edit images. You can also do that with these. If you want to edit all the boxes to a similar size, click on one, Control A, and you can adjust any one, and all of them will move to suit, right? So that is also a good way to format your chart so that there is some uniformity in how the boxes look, and also uniformity in how the font and size looks, if you do Control A to select everything at once. All right. Then you can fill in the other position. So let's say we have here production manager. All right. Sorry, let's do that again. So we have production manager. Right. Right, so I think let's bring it back this way. Center everything at once. Alright, this one is giving a little trouble. It doesn't want to center. Alright, let's see why. So I'm gonna undo. Sometimes it's just simpler to undo everything if it's giving problems. Production manager. Right, there we go. Finance manager. And always remember to check your spelling because you don't want to create the chart with errors in it. Right. We also have what, marketing manager. So they'll give you a pretty much um, simple standard chart, right? It all depends on the company given to you. They will give you all the details, and you just simply have to put it in the correct place you see it. Now, what if you want to add more boxes that were not given to you? So it depends on where you want the boxes to be, right? Now, a tricky one is, what if there's a position above the general manager, right? So once you click on the boxes, double click, you're going to see the design menu opens, and you can add a shape, right? Right at the top left corner, you can add a shape. Um, if you add a shape above, it will look like this, but you will have to change the layout to standard so it can go back, right? Once you click on the box, change it to standard. So it turned into a hanging style, which sometimes happen because of you adding other things. But you can always click standard and it will turn it back to look very traditional. This is a more traditional layout, right? That you may see on the paper, right? So if you notice it looks like this on the paper, this is based on the layout, standard layout. So you click on the box, right? This box is controlling all those under. So you click on this one, change it to standard, and everything will change appropriately. So that's how you add. So let's say we have this chief. Remember the font is 16. So we can bring it down one time. So we have, let's just put CEO for now. All right. So that's how you add a box above. If I want to add a box, let's say we have one, two, three, and we want another position here, fourth. let's say we want to put the HR manager. Now that position falls under this position here, the general manager. So we have to go back to the general manager, double click for the menu, add shape below, and it will add it here. Right? So we can get here, change the font to 16 quickly, and we're gonna put HR manager. Right? So it's all about, it's very simple to use, but if you're not clicking on the right shape to add, and I am going to encourage you to play around with it first. So double click, add shape. So you could try all of these, add shape after, you're going to get this effect. If you add shape, let me just undo that. If you add shape before, you're going to get this effect. If you add shape above, you're going to get this effect. Right? So it all depends on where you're clicking. If you add shape below, it all depends on where you're clicking. If I click here and I want to add a shape like an assistant, it's going to be like this, which falls as a subordinate under that position. Right? So you have to know where you're clicking. Add shape below, same thing. If I add shape above, right, you're going to get that. So it's all about where you're clicking at that point in time. Right? So also, so you may see those like add shape below, right? Let's say you see more than one position, so it may look something like, hold on, let me just undo that. All right, add shape below, so it looks like hanging, but if you want to put it, if you want to put it standard, it will look like this. All right, so that's how you get it in this shape, which is pretty much close to what CSEC normally gives us. All right, so always go back to here. If you want to put two shapes under production, you simply go to production, you add the shape below, go back to production, add the shape below. Right, that's how you get it there. So you always have to be clicking on the shape where you're going to add that position, and the positions are based on who's reporting to whom. Right, so if that person is reporting to the production manager, you must click on production manager to add the shapes below. Right, and pretty much that is how it works. You can change colors and things, but I mean that is pretty basic. You normally do not use colors within CSEC, but it's something you can do just quickly, right? Without wasting too much time. And the most important thing is to make sure that all your text boxes accommodate the information, so you can simply um, let me just redo that. Right, so you may have to do them individually because some of them are a little bigger than others, right? And you just accommodate that. You can also decide on the font. It all depends. I would probably say go with black for safety. It's clearer, right? You can extend the canvas, which is what is holding the shape. The outside, you can extend it to get a bigger outlook of the chart, and to just accommodate it on the page, so when you print you have all the information that is necessary. Right, other things like footnotes and etc. You know how to add footnotes, references, you know how to get to the footer. You basically double click at the bottom of the page, or if it's a header, you go to the top. Right, so those are pretty basic. We have done that before. Right, if you want to do any other formatting to your chart, in the design menu, that's where you change the formatting to your chart. And basically, that's how you complete an organizational chart. All right, so I do hope this video is reviewed carefully, and that you practice it before you complete the one that is given for the SBA and submit it in a very timely manner. This can be done today because you should be engaged in class today. I just decided that persons who wish to go to sports can do so. Um, and seeing that we're home today also, right? But work has to continue. We want to make sure all our SBAs are completed in a timely manner. So please ensure that you work on these SBAs so that you can get the best mark possible. And if you have any queries, you can send them to me so that I can guide you accordingly. All right, so see you next class.